I wanted to make this video talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake because Final Fantasy VII Remake is one of my favorite games of all time. I love the OG Final Fantasy VII, I love the remake, I love Rebirth, and I am very excited for part 3 to see how things end and, what sort of direction they're gonna go, because things obviously are different from the very first Final Fantasy game compared to like the remake trilogy and everything. But I personally don't mind it. I actually love it and I have a lot of fun with it. And basically what I'm going to be talking about here within today's video is the release date. Like, when is Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 coming out? I'm just going to call it that as of now because we don't know exactly what the third game is called. I'm not going to call it Reunion because Crisis Core Reunion is already a thing. Pretty sure it's going to be another name that begins with R, and we'll probably find out sometime this year, but I don't want to keep rambling on. I want to give you guys my thoughts on the matter when it comes to this. So let's not waste any more time and dive straight into it. So when it comes to when I think Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 is actually going to release, I've been thinking about this a lot. And the more I sit there and really piece everything together, the more I start to feel like 2027 just makes the most sense out of any possible year that you could just throw out there. Because it actually feels like something that lines up in a very natural way when you really start looking at everything surrounding it. And the main reason why I even say that in the first place is because 2027 is going to mark 30 years since the original Final Fantasy VII came out. That alone is a huge deal when you really start to think about it, because we're not just talking about any game here. We're talking about one of the most iconic games of all time. So hitting a milestone like that isn't something that you can just let pass by. It's something that you celebrate in a big way. And when you really start thinking about how companies usually handle anniversaries like that, especially for something as big as Final Fantasy VII, it just feels like the perfect opportunity to do something major. And what better way to celebrate 30 years of a legendary game than by dropping the final part of the remake trilogy? That just feels like something that would naturally line up with how you would honor something like this. And on top of that, another thing that really adds to this whole idea is the fact that we already know that Final Fantasy VII Remake is in development. And it's not like they're just starting from scratch or anything like that. This is something that's been in production for a while now. So when you factor that into everything, it really starts to make that 2027 window feel even more realistic. Because if you really look at how things have been handled so far with this remake trilogy, there's been a clear pattern when it comes to development time. And while these games do take a lot of effort and time to make, it's not like we're completely in the dark about how long things could take. So when you look at where we are now and how long they've likely been working on this third part, a 2027 release date does not feel rushed, because it also doesn't feel too far off either. And that's really where this starts to come together even more, because it's not just about the anniversary lining up, it's about the development timeline actually making sense alongside it. And when both of those things start to match up, that's when it starts to feel less like a guess and more like something that could genuinely happen. Now, another thing I've been thinking about is when we might actually start getting more information about this game. Because if 2027 really is the target, then at some point they're going to have to start showing something. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that starts happening sooner rather than later. Like, I could easily see a situation where we get some kind of teaser or announcement during a PlayStation State of Play, or maybe even something bigger like Summer Game Fest or the Game Awards later this year. Because those are usually the moments where big reveals happen, and Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 is definitely one of those games that would fit perfectly in an event like that. And even if it's not a full gameplay showcase or anything like that, just getting some kind of confirmation or a small look at what they've been working on would go a long way in setting the stage for what's to come, especially if they're building towards a 2027 release, because at that point, you're starting to enter that window where marketing and promotion begin to ramp up. And there's obviously going to be more Final Fantasy talk on this channel, because Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time. So whenever we do get any information on Final Fantasy VII or anything relating to Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, then yes, I will be making a video about it. But I thought it just made sense to make a video like this because, I mean, why wouldn't you want to put the third game out to celebrate the 30th anniversary? It just feels so perfect not to do. So I'm really hoping that they definitely go down that direction. But now I'm going to leave the floor to you guys. How do you feel about this when it comes to what I said? Be sure to let me know, of course, in the comments below. And if you want to follow me for more content, be sure to check out my TikTok, my Facebook page, my Instagram, and my X. All the links are located in the description below, as well as joining my Discord server, which I'll leave in the comments. So be sure to check out my Discord server so we could start talking more about everything surrounding media when it comes to all of our favorites. Be sure to click on that bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I'm dropping a new video on the channel. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.